Now with me, Lorenzo Isaac for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Israeli man armed to the teeth arrested in Kuala Lumpur. Sarawak offers world-class knee surgery service. Meanwhile, 5 students in MUKAH detained for bullying. An Israeli man was apprehended by the police on Wednesday at a hotel on Jalan Ampang, reportedly in possession of 6 firearms. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussain said the 36-year-old individual, suspected to have entered the country from the United Arab Emirates using a French passport on March 12, is currently in custody. He informed reporters during a breaking of fast ceremony hosted by Bukit Aman's Internal Security and Public Order Department earlier today. Razaruddin further said that given the Palestine-Israel issue, the police are now on high alert and stepping up security for His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, and Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. The suspect is believed to have acquired the firearms in Malaysia through cryptocurrency transactions. Police are also considering the likelihood that he may have established a network within the country. The seized firearms include a Glock 19 Mariner, Glock 17 Gen 4, Smith & Wesson, 6 Sauer and Stoiker models. When questioned about the man's potential involvement in espionage, Razaruddin said the police are currently investigating the issue. Sarawak, through KPJ Kuching Specialist Hospital, had a breakthrough in orthopedic care, achieving a new milestone in robotic knee joint replacement surgeries with the Robotic Surgery Assistant, or ROSA. Deputy Premier Dr. Ahmad Dr. Sim Kui Hian hailed the technology introduced by KPJ Kuching last August as a state-of-the-art robotic technology in Borneo. It marks a significant leap in Sarawak's healthcare industry.
And how are they going to improve the machine? Can they improve the machine now? They don't know what. So you tell them, I am more important than you. It's not a partner equal. So don't think that we are from jungle or Borneo. We are just providing a service. Because from jungle or Borneo, we can provide the type of consultancy as good as anywhere else in the world.
ROSA technology is an orthopedic surgery that adapts the position of implants with extraordinary precision, leading to better surgical outcomes with a rapid recovery rate for patients experiencing knee issues.
So, sebagai surgeon, saya rasa itu errors yang buat itu memang banyak dikurangkan. Semua dia macam situation under control. So, combination of robot, implant yang bagus, dengan alignment yang saya mention tadi, kinematic alignment, pemulihan patient itu memang sangat cepat.
Since the technology was implemented from August 2023 until February 2024 at KPJ Kuching, the number of total knee replacement surgeries has increased significantly by 28.7% compared to the same period the previous year, with a total of 358 procedures.
5 Form 5 students have been detained in connection to a bullying incident involving a Form 2 student at a boarding school in MUKAH. MUKAH's Chief of Police, DSP Muhammad Rizal alias, said that all 5 17-year-old male teenagers were remanded on Thursday for 4 days to assist in the investigation.
According to Muhammad Rizal, a report of the incident was lodged on March 27th and the case is being investigated under sections 506, 377CA and 323 of the Penal Code. Muhammad Rizal said the victim was bullied by the 5 teenagers in the boys' dormitory in 2 separate incidents. He was assaulted on the chest, stomach, back, and genitals. The MUKAH chief of police added that the victim had been taken to Bintulu Hospital for examination and treatment for his injuries. The police, according to him, would take stringent action in accordance with the provisions of the law against those involved in the case.
The Premier Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, officiated the opening of the new Taman Jelita Mosque in Taman Tunku, Miri, earlier today. For further details, let's go directly to our colleague Burhanuddin Kamel at the location. Go ahead, Burhan.
All right, thank you, Lorenzo. Earlier this evening at Masjid Baharu Taman Jelita, Miri, where just a while ago the inauguration ceremony for this new mosque took place graced by the President of the Sarawak Premier, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Abang Johari arrived at the mosque around 6:25 in the evening and then took the time to break fast with the guests present, followed by congregational prayers for Maghrib and Isha. There were more than 300 people attended to liven up the breaking of fast event and the inauguration ceremony of Masjid Baharu Taman Jelita, which given name Masjid Jamal Ad-Din. For your information, Abang Johari delivered his address shortly after the Tarawih prayers and then proceeded with the symbolic inauguration ceremony and the nation presentation before the event concluded. All right, I think that's all I can share for now. I'm Burhanuddin Kamel with cameraman Muhammad Rafiq reporting for TVS Miri. Back to studio.
Thank you, Burhanuddin, for the updates all the way from Miri. Moving on, a comprehensive legal framework is needed to safeguard the data collected within the central database hub Padu from exploitation by irresponsible parties. According to legal practitioner Shankar Ram, the Padu system is comprehensive, but the existing Personal Data Protection Act is very limited in its scope. He emphasizes the necessity for the people to comprehend their rights and the legislation in place.
Our rakyat must know there is no comprehensive legal framework to guard the data collection. You know, the Personal Data Protection Act is it has its own limited scope there. There can be all sorts of people who would want to breach, and there can be violation, there can be abuse. While you're helping the poor, at the same time you're exposing them to, such a huge risk. And here, this is not a minor thing.
In this regard, he suggested that the federal government refer to implementations in other countries, such as the United Kingdom, which has the General Data Protection Regulation or UK GDPR. He said this regulation is characterized as comprehensive because it protects both personal and public data, commercial data collection, as well as data protection. Therefore, the crucial step is for the federal government to allocate funds, after which the Sarawak government will be equipped to execute the implementation.
Sarawak, we form Malaysia, but we cannot be subjugated by all these kind of things, then expose our Sarawakians to such risk of, abuse, or there could be a possible breach of the data. People can hack into it. Even Pentagon can be hacked. So who says that this is impeccable? So with respect, I'm saying that it has to be a very, very proper study of this area.
Meanwhile, ICT and digitalization specialist Dr. Jolly Amy Harrell said that public concerns arose due to a lack of confidence in the safety of their sensitive data. This is exacerbated by the many rampant cases involving scammers, unauthorized data usage, and identity theft being reported.
Selain daripada tu, mereka juga memastikan sistem padu ni mematuhi semua peraturan-peraturan keselamatan yang telah ditetapkan di peringkat kerajaan. Because dalam peringkat kerajaan, dia ada banyak peraturan yang telah digunakan. Satu macam rangkaian kerja keselamatan cyber sektor awam. Dia dah ada tu. Dia dah ada juga dasar keselamatan ICT sektor awam. Merangkumi garis panduan CGSO, dasar keselamatan ICT Kementerian Ekonomi dan dosem dan prosedur pengurusan insiden keselamatan ICT dan juga setiap agensi ada dokumen keselamatan data mereka tersendiri.
In addition, she said the Padu system should also focus on collecting only important and targeted data to enhance the public's understanding of the system.
Meanwhile, for the public, Padu's effectiveness still falls short of success because many facets of information they need to scrutinize. In a survey conducted by TVS, the process of inputting information into the Padu system proves to be challenging for the public, especially for the elderly.
Pada prinsipnya, tujuan kajian memperkenalkan Padu itu adalah baik. Sebab ia menggabungkan semua maklumat kita dalam satu ya. Jadi, tapi dari segi pelaksanaannya, terutama bagi yang pesara-pesara ataupun warga emas, ia agak rumit sebab banyak perkara yang perlu diisi, terutama apabila kita menggunakan handphone.
Bagi saya, kalau kerajaan Sarawak ingin untuk melaksanakan Padu, mungkin ada perkara yang dalam tu boleh ditapis semula lah, disemak semula supaya rasanya data-data lebih selamat lah. Lebih selamat dan tidak disalahgunakan lah pihak-pihak yang tertentu yang tidak bertanggungjawab.
Harapan tu memang adalah kalau betul-betul kerajaan nak bagi semangat, bagi pertolongan, bantuan kepada AB40 ke apa itu tidak salah. Bahkan beberapa tahun-tahun ini pun dia ada orang dah bagi. Jadi dia takut ada orang yang tidak dapat walaupun dia layak. Sekarang ni pun banyak yang layak tapi tidak dapat. Tidak dapat tu. Jadi untuk bagi saya lah baik juga kerajaan introduce tu Padu memang bagus tapi menyempurnakannya nanti tidak tahulah akan datang sebab kita punya state pun bingung sikit lah, bukan tidak setuju tapi dia bingung lah.
But at the same time, there remain many Malaysians who are still in the dark about the Padu system.
Okey, kita tahu sih apa-apa mengenai Padu.
Kami faham gila.
Pernah dengar mengenai Padu?
Si benar. Macam tim ke? Aku pun si tahu juga lah.
Registrations for the Padu system have been open since January 1st, 2024 and will end on March 31st. And as of March 28th, a total of 9.24 million Malaysians have registered for Padu.
Welcome back. The upcoming Hari Raya Aidilfitri public holidays are generally expected to fall on Wednesday and Thursday of April 10 and 11. As for the third day of Raya, which falls on the following Friday, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim hinted that it will not be an additional public holiday.
12 April ini kita kena ada semangat kerja.
He said this after attending the Putrajaya Madani Iftar Gathering MIM at Dataran Putra on Wednesday. In the event organised by JAKIM and the Putrajaya Corporation, It was estimated that nearly 10,000 members of the public was in attendance. The itinerary included special sermons and the handing over of contributions to the Asnaf, or those eligible for zakat, from the Inland Revenue Board, Tenaga Nasional Berhad and the Zakat Collection Centre, totaling 150,000 ringgit.
There is a pressing need to address and curb the emergence of groups characterized as anti-establishment towards the government. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said that although these groups are in the minority, serious attention needs to be given to ensure that they do not influence the majority of the people's thinking, thus affecting the government's planned initiatives for the welfare of the people and the country.
Saja padu dilancarkan, ada balingan kebencian yang kononnya maklumat peribadi akan digunakan sepenuhnya oleh pihak kerajaan, terutamanya Kementerian Ekonomi, untuk menggali maklumat peribadi dan dikongsi dengan semua pihak, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Setiap sesuatu yang baru pasti ada cabarannya. Dan cabaran-cabaran yang begitulah kita tahu bahawa di sana terdapat tidak kurang 22% yang menentang. Apa saja yang baru yang dibuat oleh apa saja oleh mana-mana kerajaan, apa saja oleh kumpulan establishment, pasti 22% kurang-kurangnya itu tidak mengena.
Zahid, who is also the Minister of Rural Development and Territories, said all parties within the government must work together to ensure efforts against these minority groups are curbed so they do not become a threat to the national development agenda. He said this in his speech at the Ramadan Charity Event 2024 at Masjid Jami' As-Solihin, Banting, Selangor on Thursday.
The ringgit ended the day higher against the US dollar on improving domestic demand following the recent sell-off. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afsar Nizam Abdul Rashid said the local currency rebounded amid a firmer greenback ahead of the United States personal consumption expenditures inflation data to be unveiled at a later time. At 6 p.m, the ringgit rose against the greenback, closing at 4.7280 against its opening at 4.7215 from its Wednesday's close of 4.7370. The government has approved toll-free access for 2 days on April 8 and 9 for all users of Class 1 vehicles, which include private vehicles, in celebration of this year's Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi said toll exemptions will be granted at all toll plazas except at the national boundaries, namely the Sultan Iskandar Building Toll and Tanjung Kupang Toll Plaza in Johor Bahru.
Nanta said the free toll provision will commence at 12:01 a.m. on April 8th and will end at 11:59 p.m. on April 9th. According to him, the total allocation for this purpose amounts to 37.6 million ringgit.
Percuma oleh kerajaan ini adalah sebagai tanda prihatin dan sama-sama ingin berkongsikan kegembiraan bersama rakyat Malaysia lah. Dijangka ada 2.46 juta, 2,5 juta lah kenderaan sehari akan menggunakan lebuh raya pada waktu puncak musim perayaan ini.
He added that the Malaysian Highways Authority and concession companies will activate smart lane routes at 18 locations on the Plus Highway that have been identified as potential sites for critical traffic congestion.
Yang lebih daripada yang sudah sekarang, ada papan tanda dengan lampu isyarat memberitahu kepada pengguna, maka smart lane tu boleh digunakan dalam hari dan waktunya setiap hari semasa ia dibenarkan ataupun digunakan.
He made these remarks after inspecting the southbound rest and service areas in Seremban on Thursday. Nanta also reminded highway users to plan their travels by following the recommended travel schedule and to download the MyPlus TTA digital application. There, users can choose their travel times based on the entry and exit toll plazas.
World News. An Israeli airstrike on Syria's Aleppo province killed at least 36 Syrian soldiers and wounded dozens earlier today, where a war monitor says weapons depot were located. UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the pre-dawn strike targeted an area near Aleppo's international airport, which also killed and wounded civilians as well as military personnel.
A Syrian military source said at approximately 1:45 a.m., the Israeli enemy launched an air attack from the direction of Athriya, southeast of Aleppo. The Israeli military, when contacted by AFP news agency, said it would not comment on reports in the foreign media. Israel has launched hundreds of airstrikes on targets in Syria since the civil war began there in 2011, as it seeks to cut off Hezbollah supply routes to Lebanon. The frequency of these strikes has increased since Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza began on October 7th. Israel has exchanged near-daily cross-border fire with Hamas ally Hezbollah since the Gaza war began, sparking fears of a major regional conflagration. According to an AFP tally, at least 346 people have been killed in Lebanon, mostly Hezbollah fighters, but also including at least 68 civilians in clashes with Israel over the last 6 months. The fighting has also displaced tens of thousands of people in southern Lebanon and in northern Israel.
Japan is preparing to resume funding to the UN's crisis-hit Palestinian Refugee Agency, which coordinates nearly all aid to Gaza. Once the sixth largest contributor to the agency, Japan joined more than a dozen countries in pausing funding after Israel claimed that 12 of UNRWA's 13,000 Gaza's employees were involved in the deadly October 7 Hamas attack.
Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa met UNRWA Chief Filipe Lazzarani in Tokyo on Thursday to discuss measures taken by the agency to strengthen governance and transparency. In a statement, he said Japan and UNRWA confirmed that they will advance final coordination about necessary efforts to resume Japan's contribution. Japanese media reports said the resumption of funding, which was suspended in January, was expected to come in the first half of April. The abrupt suspension of funding has threatened UNRWA's efforts to deliver desperately needed aid in Gaza, where the UN has warned of an impending famine. This month, Australia, Canada, Sweden, and others said they were resuming aid. Lazzarini said on Tuesday that the agency has enough funds to keep operating until at least the end of May. The United Nations has launched both an internal and an independent investigation, but it said Israel has not provided it with any evidence to support the claims against its workers.
China came out opposing the sanctions on North Korea, calling it as a blind move after Beijing decided to abstain during a United Nations UN Security Council vote. The vote has allied Russia blocking the renewal of a panel of UN experts monitoring sanctions, busting activity in Pyongyang. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said that Russia's views were discounted while the sponsor country of the resolution requested for a hasty vote and gave no room for consultations.
俄罗斯提出的合理意见未能得到采纳，提案国在仍有时间进行协商的情况下，仓促要求表决，安理会公开摊牌，这不利于维护安理会权威。 当前半岛局势持续紧张，一味的制裁施压解决不了问题，政治解决是唯一出路。我们希望安理会及有关各方都能为此做出建设性努力。
Moscow's veto at the Security Council does not remove the sanctions on North Korea, but spells the end of the group monitoring their implementation and a myriad alleged violations. The panel's mandate expires at the end of April. North Korea has been under mounting sanctions since 2006, put in place by the UN Security Council in response to its nuclear program. Since 2019, Russia and China have tried to persuade the Security Council to ease the sanctions, which had no expiration date.
Meanwhile, the relationship between Japan and North Korea has been tense for many years. This is due to the abduction of Japanese citizens of the 1970s and 1980s, as well as North Korea's prohibited weapons programs, to say the least. Although there have been some tentative indicators of improved relations recently, Pyongyang said earlier today that it had no interest in dialogue with Japan, following allegations that a Japanese diplomat in China had reached out to a North Korean counterpart.
The North Korean diplomat in China disclosed that an official from the Japanese embassy in Beijing had suggested communication via email to a counselor at their embassy in the Chinese capital. However, North Korean Foreign Minister Cho Son-hui rejected the proposal. Meanwhile, Kim Yo-jong, the influential sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, stated on Monday that Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida had sought a summit with her brother. The following day, she asserted that Pyongyang would decline any such communication, citing Japan's perceived lack of courage in revitalizing North Korea-Japan relations. In 2023, Kishida expressed his willingness to meet with Kim Jong-un unconditionally and discuss all issues, including the abduction of several Japanese citizens by North Korean agents. Kishida on Thursday reiterated that he remained committed to pursuing a summit aimed at securing the return of the abducted Japanese citizens and addressing other related matters.
Former South African President Jacob Zuma narrowly escaped a car accident last night when a vehicle carrying him was struck by a drunk driver. South African authorities said the incident occurred just hours following electoral officials' decision to disqualify Zuma from participating in the upcoming May 29 general election. Tensions in the lead-up to the polls are intensifying as a result.
The South African Police Service reported that the driver's vehicle crashed into the official armored state vehicle of former President Zuma. The 51-year-old driver was apprehended in the KwaZulu-Natal province on charges of drunken driving as well as reckless and negligent driving. Zuma and his bodyguards emerged unharmed, and the 81-year-old president was promptly escorted to his residence. Zuma's car accident, occurring just 2 months prior to the upcoming election, has ignited a myriad conspiracy theories across social media platforms. Earlier in December, Zuma declared his intention to campaign for the opposition Umkhonto we Sizwe MK party, signaling a significant setback for the African National Congress ANC.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.